Hello there everyone, my name is Garrett and today I'm going to be taking a look at a random handful of these new Transformer Legacy Deluxes. DRAGSTRIP, Wild Rider, and Elita One. Yes, I'm back from the dead momentarily, still trying to figure out how I can work in making YouTube videos alongside also going to university. Things might be a bit different, but what do I care? I don't know about y'all, but I am extremely happy with the direction of the Legacy line so far. Rounding out some of the forgotten Beast Wars characters from Kingdom, a sprinkling of G2, a sprinkling of Pretenders, some strange Prime-esque figures, an out-of-the-blue Combiner, and possibly the best-looking mainline figure of all time. What's even more amazing for me, a big fan of car formers, is that most of the figures in the line have been cars. Skids, Elita One, Knockout, Wild Rider, Crankcase, Dead End, Point Blank, Breakdown, Hotshot, Scrap Hook, plus the entire Velocitron subline dedicated to race cars. I love race cars so much that I work 90 hours a week at Advanced Auto Parts. All I talk about is race cars. Some people have given me the nickname Racist.
Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends?
Did you know if you spell race car backwards, it still spells race car? And if you spell Pertzgard backwards, you get dragstrip. Pertzgard sounds like a new slur. On to dragstrip, starting in car mode for once. Not to say the robot mode is bad, I just almost like this beautiful flaxen race car mode more. Okay, flaxen is maybe not the right word, but I don't want to say banana either. What I'm trying to get across is that it is yellow, and the yellow they used is perfect. This mustard gold color is used somewhat minimally, but just enough to break up the color palette. Same goes for the red. When you stop and look, there's not actually that much, but again, it's just the right amount to make it look interesting. This engine, metal thing, car part, whatever it is, I don't know. It looks cool and is eye-catching. By all means, lambast me in the comments for not knowing basic car lore. I love the details on this little lemon dude. There's a healthy smattering of indented sections and little panel lines that make me feel satisfied in paying $25 for him. I take that back. But, these pipes are a cool addition, considering that you won't see them most of the time, being on the underside of the car. Again, I don't really care about the technical details of what that part is called. My only real complaint about the dragster mode is that the wheels are on these ugly mushroom pegs. It's not that much of a problem, but I wish it was done differently. Oh, and it also doesn't really roll as much as slide, but it can scoot a little. Genius and amazing transformation. Everything seems so well thought out. It's really tactile, if you get what I mean. There's no faffing around with clunky parts on struts or loose flaps that fall around easily. It's as straightforward and simple as a transformation can be, while also being interesting. And the robot mode.
Hello, I've just got to let you.
I like him a lot. Just a chunky little pea-colored boy with a sweet red visor. The look is on point. Really impressive how all the paint I mentioned in dragster mode just seems to up and disappear in this robot mode. From straight on, he just looks absolutely yellow. This is a good thing, by the way. Very good. Don't know how to describe it exactly, but it's just very pleasing. Posability is a little lacking, mainly just in the head department. He just can't look up or down, which is disappointing. I mean, maybe you can mistransform him a little bit to get him to look up, but no. The arms go past 90, there's a waist swivel, and the ankle is superb. So well designed. It's one of my favorite things about the figure. Even his guns look almost as hot as he does. Seriously, these little pea shooters might be some of my favorites out of my whole collection. Second, maybe only to Jetfire's massive combining gun. I love that Dragstrip has two of them, not just one. It adds so much personality to posing him around.
Anyway, I started blasting. Bah! Bah!
They also look great on him in car mode, adding an extra purple splash of color.
Good job!
Might be the main contender for Alternator Swindle in terms of favorite Transformer I own. And trust me, I don't say that lightly.
You want a piece of me? You want a piece? No! I want two!
Next, on to Wild Rider. With car mode, I have similar things to say to DRAGSTRIP. Actually, in many regards, I think it is the superior alt mode of the two. The colors are wicked and the detail is great. I adore that nearly black dark green paired with the red tinted windows. It looks so mean. It's like peak bad guy intimidating muscle car design. It's very nice that these metallic red lines go the full length of the car. However, I think they needed another coat of paint because they seem very thin. My only real problem with the car mode is that the feet don't tab in well on the underside. I can never tell if they've actually pegged in or not, or they're just holding there because friction. It's not a good feel. And it only goes downhill from here. Transformation is depressing. Parts clash, joints are too tight, too loose. That whole front end of the car is so annoying to futz into place. What's worse is that the end result of the transformation isn't even worth it. Wild Rider just feels lazy. His legs are just an eighth of the car, which feels clunky and unwieldy. His arms seem too short and they can just barely make a feeble 90 degrees, which limits posing. He's got distractingly large and deep screw holes right in the center of his guts. He's not fun to pose in general. Worst of all is that massive and unsightly backpack that makes him unbalanced. It feels like the figure is fighting with me with everything I try to do, and it makes me straight up resent the thing. It really just feels like an insult, considering he's nowhere near as good as his Decepticon brethren, DRAGSTRIP. For those of you that don't know, and if you don't know, why are you watching this video? DRAGSTRIP and Wild Rider are part of a group of Decepticons called the Stunticons, which all combine together into a giant hunkin' robot named Minosaur. And Legacy decided to do Minosaur, and he was looking pretty hype until he started to fall off at the end. Ultimately, Wild Rider was a big letdown after the frankly amazing DRAGSTRIP and Motormaster that just completely knocked it out of the park. It's really unfortunate that not every figure in this set are on par in terms of design and quality. And no, I'm not going to show them in arm or leg mode because what would be the point of it? I don't have Motormaster. Wild Rider comes with these two pistols that look a lot like DRAGSTRIP's, just a bit more muted. They work well with the figure color-wise and honestly just improve the look of him tenfold by just holding them. I can just barely hold them because they made the handles too small, so they just spin around in his hand, it looks stupid, and for the remainder of the review, Wild Rider will be joining Power of the Prime Swoop in the Figures I Don't Want to Look At drawer. And last, and certainly not least, ELITA-1. A very different type of car mode when compared to the two previous bots, but a car mode that I think is equally effective in getting across the vibes it's trying to get across. ELITA-1 here, which is a goofy name, certainly is much smaller than most other deluxes in her vehicle mode, but I think it works good. ELITA-1 in the original show didn't look anything like this in car mode, but you haven't watched that show, and I haven't either, so who cares? I won't say it looks amazing or even good, but I think it's perfectly serviceable. I'd say I prefer it to most other Cybertronian and futuristic alt modes I've seen, but it almost looks cartoony with how chibi and squashed it is. I think this cartoony look was no accident. It was the intent of the designers. But I don't think it fits that well with the rest of the cars in the War for Cybertron or Legacy Generations lines. I do love the painted wheels, however. It's very nice to see that, and the blue used for the windshield is very nice too. Weird little hat on top is detachable. Noted. I guess it's a detail the cartoon Elita had, but if you're gonna make the design wildly different, then why carry over that one small detail? If it's a bother to you, it's detachable and fits just great on Kingdom Rodimus Prime. Something of note that is not just design or opinion based is that the feet on the back of the car are pretty loose and ugly looking. They're just slapped on the back of the car, which is not a good look. The look of it wouldn't bother me that much if it could stay in place, but oh well. Transformation is great. Yes, a lot of the car ends up on her back, but a fair amount of her is also car parts. The old RC and other Fimbot design of a backpack with a robot curled up underneath was opted out of in this new figure, giving us an actual solid transformation that involves things like, well, the arms becoming the side of the car and the legs becoming the back half. Transformation feels great and it's fun to do. I keep finding myself picking up the figure and fiddling around with it because it's just a joy to handle. And robot mode is a stunner. I am in love with it. Female Transformers usually suck because they're female first and robot second. That means a creepy emphasis on very humanoid anatomy, like a slender legs, arms, and waist with a big chest and hips. That doesn't translate well into being a transformable toy, because then the entire alt mode is just a backpack. Thankfully, Elita One skips all that BS and has a design that works as robot first and female second. In short, she's satisfyingly solid and chunky. Finally, a realistic body standard for Transformers women. That's a sentence that's never been said before. The red, pink, and white color scheme looks great, and so does the detailing, like all the little vents and panel lines. Her head sculpt looks really nice, with the extremely finely painted lips and eyes, and I just love the little visor light and the horns. Reminds me of Mainframe a little bit. Is she wearing Mainframe's head as a hat? The little Valentine-themed queen slays. Slays Mainframe. She killed him. I know I harped on the backpack on Wild Rider so much, so it'll seem hypocritical to say this, but I love the backpack on Elita One so much. It adds character instead of detracting, like Wild Rider's case. These big shoulder columns are my favorite thing about the whole design. It's an interesting way to break up the backpack without being lazy. Yes, I know she can do this because she's a pre-tool for Minerva, and yes, I know Wild Rider's backpack can also break apart, but look at this and tell me it's anywhere near comparable. No, they're not. The big difference is that Wild Rider can't move his arms without hitting his backpack, and Elita's doesn't really hinder her posability at all. Well, most of her posability is great. The arms bend over 90 degrees, which is always welcome. She's got a waist and wrist rotation, which is stellar, but her head and ankle posability sucks. Head is really, really tight, and it looks like it's on a small ball joint, but I can't get any motion except side to side. Ankles are what I mentioned earlier. They're loose and just lacking the elegance of really being worked into the design. And now I'm going to get everybody's size comparisons out of the way in one fell swoop. Here are our three next to Action Master Grimlock, Earthrise Prime, a 6-inch scale Skeletor, Legacy Cosmos, Hammond Collection Velociraptor, and Waluigi. And here's the same thing all again, but in alt mode. In summary, I love this gal a lot. Probably more than my actual wife. But not as much as DRAGSTRIP.
Female.
And I think that's the lesson we can take from today's review. Nobody is as good as DRAGSTRIP. Thank you for watching. If you liked it, well, give it a like, subscribe, comment. Other than that, I'm out.